Hi guys, and welcome back to another Ocean Earth ding repair tutorial. Today we'll be attacking the dreaded nose. Now this is a pretty common one and we're going to run you through every step that you're going to need to go through to get that fixed. If you want a more detailed version of how to use everything that's inside this box, jump in the video below in the description. Step 1 is cleaning and preparing your ding. So what you're going to want to do here is pull out all of the dead fiberglass that's surrounding your foam. What that's going to look like is kind of cracked and broken glass. Now grab your coarser sandpaper and just rough up around the area. Step 2, setting up. Once you've sanded around the area, grab a hold of your masking tape and start taping it off to stop the Q-CEL and the resin from dribbling out and creating a mess. So for the nose, it's a little trickier. What you're going to want to do is create a little canoe with a bottom to hold all your Q-CEL in it. Step 3, mixing and applying your Q-CEL. We're going to want your nose of your surfboard to be nice and level, so we're going to prop up the tail, making it flush. That way, all your Q-CEL is going to pull into your canoe. Now add a bit of resin in the cup, followed by your Q-CEL. Mix your resin in with your Q-CEL there until you get a nice toothpaste-like texture. Once you get your Q-CEL and your resin mixed together, like so, to create this kind of texture here, like toothpaste, you're going to want to add your hardener. Now it's about 3 to 6 mil per 250 mils of Q-CEL or resin. Pump your catalyst in there and give it a really good stir through so it mixes through your whole Q-E mix. This will ensure it'll go off evenly throughout your whole repair. Once you've done that, pour it into your canoe. Nice and slowly, make sure you're covering every single part of your repair. So you see these little round things here, they're bubbles. So as they come to the surface, just give them a quick prod and that'll remove the air from your Q-CEL mix and make it nice and flat. Again, easier for you to sand and less work for you to do later on down the line. So now you've got your Q-CEL mix in there, ready to set. Give it about 15 to 30 minutes and it should go off and you should be able to come back to it and get sanding. Step 4, sanding your Q-CEL. Once your Q-CEL is dried, you want to peel back your masking tape nice and slowly just so you don't kind of jag anything loose, and then check both sides to see if the Q-CEL has covered the entire ding. Looks all good here. What you want to see is the Q-CEL covering the entire part of the ding. So you don't want to see any edges or open spaces where you'd prepared and removed all that damaged glass. So you got your 2 grits here. You got your 80 grit, which is your rougher one. That'll be for cutting down Q-CEL in quantity. And then you've got your lighter grit there, which is your 120, which you'll eventually just use to shape the plan shape of your nose there. Now what I like to do, and this depends on how serious your nose ding is, but just grab a pencil once you're kind of close to getting your finished plan shape of your nose and just run it along your stringer through the white part of your Q-CEL there. That'll give you an exact line that goes straight to the tip and you can kind of sand in towards your pencil mark there. That'll give you a kind of straighter version of your nose. What you find if you don't do that sometimes is you get a bit of an asymmetrical nose where it's a bit lopsided. Once you've sanded the Q-CEL back and you're happy with the plan shape of your nose, now time to prepare the ding for the glassing stage. Sand 30 millimeters around the ding area on both sides of the nose, including the rail, in a diamond pattern. I'll show you with my fingers how that's done. Step 5, preparing your fiberglass. Once you've sanded your ding area and it's ready for your fiberglass, cut yourself a big square, big enough so it can sit on top and wrap underneath. Quick tip, when you're placing your fiberglass and are ready to wrap it around, use a bit of masking tape just to hold it in place for the time being. Now to get the perfect wrap around of your fiberglass onto your nose, as you can see there, you're still stuck with all this fiberglass here that's going to kind of get in your way. What you're going to want to do is just run your fingers along the nose there and just give it a quick pinch. And that will show you the fold. Grab your scissors and then cut straight down along that pinch. Now it should perfectly wrap one and then two like so. And if you want to, you can just use your scissors to cut off the excess parts. As for the top part of your board, you're going to have each part of the 4-ounce glass wrap around either side, giving you 2 layers. What I like to do is to make sure that the bottom has 2 layers as well, is just cut another diamond here, using your nose just to frame it up. And that'll just sit underneath your original square that flaps over there when you're glassing it. Step 6, mixing your resin and applying your fiberglass. Add your resin into the cup. Next, add the appropriate amount of catalyst, mix the two together, and stir thoroughly. Now we're going to just rub a small layer of resin onto your repair. This is enough for the first piece of fiberglass to stick to it, like so. And then you want to wet that again on top just to make sure that it rubs into your fiberglass. Now for the tricky part, we're going to add your second piece on here. And we're going to wet that too. What you're going to want to do is use a fair bit of resin for that second part, because you're going to want to rub it down onto your extra little flaps here, which is going to help you stick it to the underneath of your nose as you fold it over. So use more resin than probably what you'd normally use just for a rail or any other repair. And so once your edges are wet, you should be able to give it a fold over. Go your short side first, like so. Now fold your second flap. And if you have to, get some more resin under there, just to stick it down. And whether you're using your fingers or a squeegee or a paddle pop stick, just make sure you just rub all the bubbles out. Use your wax comb or your squeegee just to pull excess resin out of your repair like that. Depending on how hot you made your mix, leave that for about 20 to 30 minutes. You should be good to sand. Step 8, final sanding and finishing. Once your resin is fully cured, sand your repair back to the shape of your board. Start with your 80 grit or your heavier, coarser sandpaper and move on to your 120 grit, which is the lighter stuff. That'll help you kind of finishing touches there. Once you've got the bulk of the sanding done with your 80 grit, move on to your 120, which is the finer grit. This should just give you a smooth, nice finish. If you really want to smooth the finish, just dump a little bit of water on it and just rub through that. It should give you a nice polished finish. And there you go. You should be all done with your nose now. Just rip the rest of your masking tape off and you should be good to go on and surf. Let us know what you want to see fixed next. Leave a comment below.